behalf of you, the agent will act, will memorize, will have a critical thinking about his decisions, go back and beyond. For example, it can decide if you would like him to develop, if you'd like it to develop, for example, a website, it will go to the website, it will go to the different libraries, download them, install them, write the code on your behalf, deploy it on the web, and here you go. This is one very small example of what we believe would be the smart AI, or the agents, the AI agents will be able to do. And it's a lot about recursivity, means there is tasks, and then they go back to the main task, and then they do it in a very sequential and a very organized manner, like we would do ourselves when we have a project and then we submit it in different milestones. The second limitation I have talked about was that we believe that language models are only about text and image. But these are one of the recent papers from Google. So the model is called PalmE. And here PalmE, what we see right here is a robot that had embedded a large language model. But the robot, basically this language model, is not to produce text or image, is to produce actions on the real world. And this is where is this multimodality that we thought that would be one of the limitations of language model, but it's not there anymore. We are going towards this. We're going towards a sequential planning of actions where we basically, those models will have an impact on the real world. So, for example, the robot will really push and then push, let's say, a box from place to another and then get some feedback and improve it. And another example, and this is one of the projects we developed in collaboration with Deutsche Bahn, the German railway company, where we develop a way where we have an autonomous manner to schedule all the trains in Germany in a very coordinated manner. So we would have as much agents as trains that we have, and those trains will have to sync and to coordinate themselves in order to satisfy the demand under all the physical constraints that we may have. So, some piece of what we believe or piece of advice on how we can find ourselves or how can we find our place if we are an AI-first company. The field is really very exciting right now, but also there are some gaps that we have seen. So imagine today we would like to compete with OpenAI or Meta and develop our own, let's say, GPT-like model. This could be hard, because there is a massive amount of compute behind it, and a massive amount of talented researchers who worked on this problem. And so, one of the ways that we can see right now, if you would like really to be a successful organization using AI, is to really work on your competitive strength, on your exact expertise, where you master the data, you understand it. You have the knowledge and the business expertise within your team for 10 or 20 years. And based on that, you will be able to have an end-to-end development of your tools, where it can work on your operations, it can work on your industrial domain, or it can even simply the real life. And all this is really possible, and you really have a competitive advantage because you really master your business expertise, and what you know from your country and your field is much more than what can, let's say, OpenAI or ChatGPT would know. So here you will be competitive. So if I go back a little bit more in detail and how we see it, the data part is something you need to master. How to clean it, to gather it, to integrate it. This is something ideally should be done end-to-end on your side. Again, whenever you have this data, what are the AI algorithms and what is the infrastructure that you need to develop is also, again, something that ideally should be mastered in-house. so that at least when you are developing your product, you are able really to scale on a piece of the market, on a field where no one can compete with you. One of the examples that Karim likes a lot, so I will use the same. So it's Tesla, for example. It's one of the unique companies where they basically internalize the whole chain. So from end to end, from the hardware side to the software side, this is absolutely key and shown that this is one of the factors that made them successful in what they're doing. So imagine you are able to master all the pieces of your product from the beginning till the end. You have your competitive advantage and you are able to move and to pivot in a very flexible and fast way. However, I think we have to be very clear. If we don't move right now, the gap will be bigger and bigger. And the gap is already very big. And one of the big reasons of this huge gap is the compute, as I said again. We know how much compute is owned by the big names like Microsoft or Meta or OpenAI, and how much compute is needed to have those type of models, we know that it will be very difficult for us to catch the train. And the faster we do it, the better it is, because time is against us, because we don't have all this. And this is valid for most of the businesses and most of the ecosystems in Africa, unfortunately. So the lack of compute is something that will be very difficult to catch up unless they have massive investments here. So to conclude, I think the super cycle and the exponential trend that AI is bringing to our real life is here, is there. We're just living it and going through it. However, it's very important if you would like to have, for your startup and for your business, to make sure that you embed any AI intelligence in your tool as soon as possible and be able to master the end-to-end chain so that you still keep your competitive advantage regardless of the field you are working on. And thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you again. Did you see me? I was stuck behind the curtains. They're too long. You never see the end of them. Thank you again. Great talk. I will improvise one or two questions. Can we have one or two questions?